everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you so much for tuning back in. This is session one for this Buildathon series. And we have a lovely title and with a lovely person leading this session. Love at first sight, minimum lovable product. That itself make you start falling in love with this, right? So without further ado, Luna, take it over and then lead the session. Thank you so much for leading this. We are so excited that you are here. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Padma. I am also excited to be here. Let me kick off my screen share.
Yep.
And then, yeah, we can dive right in. So let's see. Let's do here. See my screen? I lost the videos, but let me know if not.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, we can see it.
Perfect. All right. Yeah. Well, hi, everyone. As Padma said, I'm Yuna. I also go by Universal on social media, but it's so great to meet you all. And honestly, I'm really honored to be able to help you kickstart your build journey for the next 2 weeks. A little bit about me. My career began in data and evolved to traditional product management across financial services. So I've worked as a data consultant, a VP, senior PM, and now I've been vibe coding for almost a year, which is really wild to say. And I mostly work as an AI consultant. So I help educate professionals, early stage founders, non-technical creatives, artists, businesses, and really just anyone that wants to collaborate with AI better. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me. And um, before I dive in, I'm actually going to share this link in the chat really quick. I would love to actually do things a little bit differently and make this a little bit more of an interactive learning experience and not just a lecture, just more my style. So I'll give you guys a second to open that up. And if for some reason that doesn't work, it's just loveatfirstlaunch.lovable.app. Um, but yeah, while you guys are opening it up, I wanted to do a really quick shout out to She Builds because Padma and I are both She Builds alum. So for anyone who doesn't know, She Builds is a global initiative by Lovable to empower women to build and ship apps with AI, which obviously with the audience here today and Padma putting this entire challenge together, it just really aligns. And yeah, I'm super excited for this next She Builds because Lovable is basically taking She Builds global IRL. So there's going to be multiple events all over the world, and it's just build-a-thons in person. So this is March 8th, and I am hosting a build-a-thon in New York. So if there's anyone on the line that's from New York or you're curious about finding an event near you, definitely click on these links here and check it out. But yeah, I think it's going to be really amazing. Build-a-thons in person. I'm super excited. So just wanted to give a quick shout out to She Builds. And okay, and with that, let's switch gears a little bit. So I'm really excited about what we're covering today. When Padma mentioned this topic to me first, the thoughts that came to my mind were, how do we create clarity around an idea? How do you help scope smarter and actually validate what's lovable? So from this past year and all the builds I've created, I definitely have experienced the painful, learning experiences of what that difference makes when you have the right clarity. And then also when you have defined the right lovable core features and how that affects your build. So, from learning pains, definitely excited to walk through this session with you all. But before we dive into the specific topics, I just want to get to know everyone here a little bit. So if you have the poll open, and look at this question here about where you are right now in your builder journey. And yeah, go ahead and answer the poll. I'd love to just see the spread of where we're at. So I'll kick us off. And hopefully it works for everyone. And if not, we can maybe even do like a hand raise or something. But let's see, is everyone able to, is it working?
Looks like it's just one click, one time click. But it's fine. We can put it in the chat. Option 1, 2, or 3.
That's true. Yes, we could do that. Yeah. Honestly, if you just want to even type it in the chat, I just would love to see the mix of, just vibe coding levels that we have here and experience. So I can gauge, yeah, everyone's, okay, great. Nice, nice. Okay, interesting. All right. Nice, Barbara. Okay, cool. Well, okay, so really, I'll give this a few more seconds, but the reason
Not
why I
sure what the
asked this,
question was, sorry.
sorry?
What was the question? I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Oh, the question is, where are you in your builder journey right now? So, when you think about AI building, yeah, just where are you in your journey? Is it that you have an idea, but maybe you haven't started building? Or maybe you tried building something, but then you got a little stuck, or you have already shipped something and it went well, or maybe it didn't go so well. So that's the prompt.
So that's 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I'm seeing though as these are coming in, we do have a spread, which is really, really interesting. And it's going to be great because what we're covering today will be useful and applicable to anyone from all vibe coding experiences. But yeah, so with that, that's very helpful for me. Let's go ahead and dive in. So the first step of understanding the minimum lovable product is killing old mindset. So this one letter, minimum lovable product, has changed everything. And it's not a new concept. Amazon's been doing this for a long time, but I think it's just become a lot more, important now and relevant now as we're in this AI builder age. So when we think MVP from the previous era, it's what worked well, right? So what was the minimum functioning version of whatever you were building that we can build and iterate off of. And so this made sense from, engineering resources and time, things like that. You almost wanted to just get something minimum so that you can make it better and reiterate. But now we're in this new age of lovable. So what that means is does the person love using this? Is it meaningful and do they feel something? So the feeling is actually the most important part because that's what actually creates this sense of delight. It makes people remember your product. And it's much more emotion driven. So I like this kind of comparison of when it's lovable, it ships and then it spreads. People can't stop talking about it. I mean, I feel that way about Lovable, the product. I'm always talking about it. But minimum viable, when it's just functional and it's serving a need, but it doesn't invoke these sense of emotion and feeling, sometimes it just ships and dies, right? People forget about it. So one quote I wanted to share with you all is by Elena Verna. She's head of growth at Lovable. Huge fan of her and a lot of her thought leadership around all these topics. But the quote is, minimal products now have to feel human. They need taste, personality, brand. They have to invoke something. And that could be trust, delight, curiosity, or even a smile. And sometimes that's the only differentiation left now. And yeah, I left the full link to the post there if you want to look at it. It's quite funny, but I really like this, and especially the part about making things feel human. I think I really do think there's just been this shift now where people are able to really think this way because we don't have all these engineering and building resource constraints. So it's really exciting, but at the same time, it can be very challenging because with taste comes a lot more considerations and emotional intelligence and empathy and things like that. So what that really leads to is the takeaway from this is you have to make things lovable to drive adoption, right? And if your users don't feel something in that first interaction with whatever you build, they probably aren't going to come back. And so delight is the new baseline, that feeling is the new baseline. And this is kind of one of the examples of where, my background coming from traditional product development and product management has completely changed. I've almost completely thrown out everything that I knew before and redefined it, re-engineered it into this new framework to follow this now. So yeah, so that's just about, first step, throw out the old ways of thinking. Now let's talk about what makes something actually lovable? So there are four things that come to mind for me in products that, are a signal that this is why people can't stop using it. The first one is core values. So core values and not just features. So usually an MLP, minimum level product, it solves a problem, but it does so in a way that's very intuitive and it creates this positive experience. So an example I like is Slack. Slack is, at the end of the day, it's a messaging tool, right? And it's pretty basic. We all message in various ways. But what they did is they created this engaging communication hub where people are able to socialize and it makes work not feel like work, right? So that's the difference between just a messaging tool that may be functional and something that it creates that delightful experience that you're like, wow, I love this. This is engaging and I want to keep using it. The next is personalization. So personalization really just creates a sense of ownership and connection. And a great example that I like to think of this, of how it's catered to the user, is Spotify. So, Spotify or any of your music streaming platforms, but Spotify has so many ways that they personalize. They have Discover Weeklies, they have multiple playlists that are curated to your music taste based on your activity. And when you receive those recommendations and curations, it just makes it feel like, wow, this was made just for me and it's perfect. And there's a sense of connection. So personalization really creates that connection. The next is very thoughtful design. So thoughtful design is essential. It's not nice to have. You must have it, especially now in this MLP era. And it's not just aesthetics, right? It's actually creating a lot of value in the experience through very thoughtful design. So obviously, classic example is Apple or any really smartphone device. But when you think about the first time, I remember the first time I held an iPhone in my hand, the experience was, wow, this is crazy because it's this sleek technology that actually works really well, but then it also looks great and the design is great. And so there's just this overall care and intention that was put into it. That's the emotional magic that we're going for. And then the last thing is sense of relief, right? So I like to just ask myself, is this solving a real pain point? Is it helping some complaint that's been happening? How much time does it save? And does it make life easier, right? So typically, minimum level of products, you will see that sense of relief in one way or another. And so that's just kind of like that fourth category I like to emphasize. And so yeah, that's pretty much it from here. And definitely like I would take some time to think about in your life what you would define as an MLP of things that you use, and it'll just kind of help you ground yourself in what does make something lovable. How do I create that in whatever I build? Um, okay, and so with that, we're going to start going a little bit more into this clarity step. But before I get in there, I want to talk about scope creep and this scope for delight. So, I think whenever I build, I notice scope creep comes in two directions. So sometimes I'm in a flow state. So I'm super excited about what I'm building. I'm like, me, Lovable, and Claude, we're just like a great team, and I could stay up all night and hyper focus. And when you start to get excited about what you're building, you will start to get new ideas like, oh man, this works so well and it was so easy to build. Let me add this thing. Or what if I change it up this way? Or maybe add this 3D interactive. So, you start to creep and add things that you don't necessarily need. And so that's the route and the direction of scope creep from excitement and in a positive way. The other side is scope creep from, just more personal self-doubt or overthinking, right? So maybe you're thinking about the competition. Maybe you're doubting if your idea is even a good idea or if it's even worth building. Maybe you're questioning a lot of, the way that you've designed it, how to make it better, and you start getting into this analysis paralysis. And so scope creep comes from multiple directions. So I created this exercise here of scope creep traps. Not because this is like the only list, but it's to give you a sense of what are those small things that will accumulate that will lead to scope creep. And if you ever find yourself as you're building, checking off multiple options here, that's where you start to see scope creep coming in, right? Maybe one or two, you think it's fine and no problem. But the more of those small things that accumulate, you really are, expanding your scope in a way that is going to deter from making it lovable. So, okay, so yeah, this is just an exercise you can kind of keep as a tool for yourself, but how do you combat this? And the way that I think of it is you have to you have to be kind to yourself and allow yourself room to let your mind have ideas and thoughts, right? So I keep a builder journal. So what this means is it's truly like it could be a Word document, it could be a web app that you create just for building, it could be a physical journal that you just keep with you, but this is where, as you're building in parallel, you're making notes of, a log of new thoughts, new ideas, and observations that you're having as you build. Another thing you could do is you could literally just use Claude or ChatGPT, create one chat context window that you're like, hey, I'm starting a build. I'm going to start dumping all of my ideas and thoughts that appear as I'm building today, and it could keep that log for you. So yeah, the reason why we do this is because I think when you start to overthink and decide whether or not each idea or thought you have is worth keeping or not, you're actually also, getting stuck and going to be in this talk kind of cycle and thought loop. So, just put it to the side, allow it to come, put it to the side, write it in your journal, and then keep going. And once you finish a certain amount of work based on your goals for your build, you could go back and revisit it. And maybe some of it is lovable, maybe some of it's not. Okay, so yeah, that's all scope creep, which is great. The next thing I want to talk about is the Lazar method. So I have to give credit to Lazar. Lazar is Lovable's first vibe coding engineer, and he's currently doing a February build challenge. So for those of you on the call that you've shipped something and maybe you're looking to kind of advance and get a full end-to-end walkthrough of building, I highly recommend this. I included the link in the bottom. But yeah, so being Lovable's first vibe coding engineer, his job is literally vibe coding. So, he shares all his principles and methodologies. And the first thing that he focuses on from a principle perspective is clarity. If you do not have clarity, you shouldn't move forward, right? And you need to have clarity on your idea before you even plan. So clarity doesn't necessarily just mean, oh, I have a clear problem statement, like this is the problem I'm tackling. You want to actually tell a story. So to tell a story, and again, you can kind of see this theme here, right? When you tell a story, it creates more of like emotion and experience. These are three questions that you can ask yourself to help you define that story for your idea. What problem am I actually solving? So what's broken? What's annoying? Who is this for? And be specific. Don't just say people or, make it generic. Is it your mom? Is it you? Is it your mailman? Is it the lady at the grocery store that you really know well? So be very specific. And then the last, which is the most important, how should it feel? So this is the most important part that a lot of people kind of glaze over and skip. But when you describe your solution and what you're building, think about how it should feel. So, do you want it to be calm? Do you want it to be powerful, minimal? Do you want it to empower people? And when you start adding these elements into your, how you clarify your idea, that's actually giving you taste and good taste, right? And that taste is going to ultimately give you the direction you need to build whatever you're building. So use metaphors, use analogies. A good example that Lazar mentioned was, like, oh, I want this app to feel like I'm under a blanket, drinking a warm cup of tea. Or, maybe you can say, I want it to feel like I just finished running a marathon and I'm so proud of myself. I don't know, right? So think about what experiences you could use to capture how it feels. And when you do these three things, there's this shift that happens where you go from I have an idea to I understand the experience I'm creating. And that is what's actually going to set you up for success. So now let's kind of dive in. We've talked about, story, etc. these are some resources I want to share with you all. The Let's Vibe tools. And this is going to help you develop your story. So, by the way, we're not even in the planning phase yet. We're still in the story, clarifying story phase of this. So you can kind of see how like a lot of the work really does go up front. But these are different options. You can use Claude Chat, use it as a thinking partner, just talk with it. You can use Lovable Plan Mode. I don't know if anyone has or hasn't used that, but I highly recommend it. Whenever you open Lovable, there's this plan button in the corner, and you can just click that, and it enters a chat mode where you can actually use Lovable like ChatGPT and, define that story and idea. Lazar has two amazing tools, a base prompt tool and idea validator that I highly recommend as well. And then I've also created a tool that I use for some of my more beginner stage clients that want that hands-on hand guidance. But yeah, so basically this is what's going to help you really clarify your idea. I want to be mindful of time, but I think we have enough time for me to go through a quick example. So yeah, if you do, I'm going to use my tool just because it's a more simple one. But if you open up Let's Vibe, the first step is describe. And I really want to at least talk about this step with you all because this is a shift in vibe coding that has changed how I build, which is voice to text. Voice is everything. It's projected to just blow. It's already blown up, but it's going to blow up even more this year. But what I mean by that is brain dumping. So if you're not already talking to AI, I highly recommend you should start right after this call. uh, you know, Click the microphone button, talk to it, think out loud. And that natural thinking is actually going to help you with a lot of the problem solving and framing as you build. And so I'm not going to do it right here just for time, but let's pretend that I use the microphone and I just said this out loud. I want an app that helps me water my plants. I want to take a photo of it, give it a name, set up a watering schedule, and I want, to know when is the next time I should water, etc. See a history of my watering. So if I put this example into this tool, right, as if I said it out loud, and what I built this to, using Claude and Chat anyway, so it's the same function, but you can use chat and AI tools to help you extract out key pieces of information, like what was the problem, what's the solution, who are you helping, and as you do this, right? So I'm going to jump back to the presentation. Oh, actually, did you guys miss the Let's Vibe? I don't think it was sharing, huh? Let me go back. 1 second. Okay, sorry. Let me breeze through this because I realized that I didn't switch over the tab. So yeah, so this is an example of my Let's Vibe tool, but essentially, this was the natural thinking voice to text example of me building an app to help me water my plants and have a schedule for them. And when you click that, AI will help you extract out key pieces of information. And you can start to use this like, hey, this is the clear problem, this is the solution, this is who I'm helping, to then craft that story in a really clear way. So let me jump back. So yeah, so when you look back at this last part of the story defining, this is a prompt template that Lazar has that you can kind of insert those elements that we extracted with AI to help you craft that full story. And so after you have the story, now you're actually going to start your build plan. So for the build plan, this is where you take the story and you start to ask AI to help you extract out things that would fall into like a PRD or just a build prompt that you would execute. But before we dive into this, I want to talk about this analogy that Andrew Ng said that I really like. The reason why planning is so important is because of this. So if you walk up to a food stand and you say, hey, I would love to order a sandwich, you may not get what you want, right? Because if you just say sandwich, sandwich could actually be a lot of things. at first you think it's not because it's, oh, it's a sandwich, but really, you could define it by saying, I want sesame bread, I want it toasted, I want turkey, avocado, tomatoes. So these specifications and instructions, that helps whoever's making your sandwich make it the way you want it, right? So really simple analogy, but I like this because it helps with how you should think about collaboration with AI. When AI is not working well, when it's not giving you the output you want, just ask yourself, how can I help give it more instructions? How can I help it help me? So with that framing, the first step of the build plan is these core elements here. What's the product at a high level? What are the core features? What are the main user flows? What is the design system, right? So the design rules, etc. Typography, visual direction. And so this is like very tied to, again, that feeling that we were talking about earlier. How should the app be used? And then what matters and what doesn't. So I'm leaving this here because essentially you would take this list, put it into AI and say, hey, I have this story that I defined, right? Based on that story prompt template. And now AI, can you help me define these elements so that I can create a PRD or a build plan? So that's that next step. And then as you go through this, if you have some things defined, right? Like maybe you know exactly what typography you want. Maybe you know the core features already because you've been thinking about it for a while. Make sure you include those details in. And as you collaborate with AI at this step, make sure you also include what you disagree with and what you agree with, because it's gonna, ask you clarifying questions, etc. But take your time with this. I mean, you can do this all in a one-shot go, but the longer you take with it and the more patient you are with it, it's actually going to help the output of your build be much more one aligned with what you may want, but also surprise you in maybe directions that are even better than what you're expecting. So, I would not rush this process. The build is 20%, the planning is 80%. One thing I'm including at the bottom here is Figma templates. I love Figma. This is also just coming from, my product days, but I've been using Figma for probably over 10 years. It's not just for design, it's also for thinking and a lot of other things as well. Let me share this really quickly. If you open it, you'll see a couple samples of flows that I've included, including some of the plant watering app examples that I generated from the tool earlier. And I'm actually going to pop over to that. Make sure you guys have the right screen. Okay, great. So I'll show you what it looks like in this tool, but obviously I took screenshots in Figma as well. Basically, I had AI extract out the user flows from the initial build plan, and then it helps you visualize your user journeys. So user journeys meaning what are the steps that the person is taking when they use your app? When they open it up on their phone, when they click a button, when they enter in information, all of these are steps of a user journey. And I'm a very visual person, so I personally love seeing the flow. And the reason why is because it helps you question and challenge what parts of it you may want to change to make it a better experience, or a more delightful experience, a more unique experience. So yeah, a very important step, definitely define your user flows. I left those Fig Jam templates in there and examples. Let's see, should this tab instead? Okay, we're just going to jump back. So, okay, let's say, great, we finish our build plan and now we have this, actually, let me also show you, sorry, I'm going to show you guys one more example of this because I do think it's really helpful to see this. Okay, so this is basically a sample of a build plan for those of you who haven't experienced making one of these before. It's essentially a comprehensive document or artifact that includes all the details of what you're building. So problem, solution, your scope, there's technical considerations. You do not have to be well versed in this. It doesn't matter if you know what data you use, how to structure your databases, what architecture is ideal, all the technical stuff. You're collaborating with AI. So you're going to trust that AI is going to help you as a non-technical builder put in the right considerations to build what you want. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. The only thing is when you create a build plan is I would make sure that you focus on the first part of it, which is the overview, the problem solution, make sure it's still in line with what you originally defined in your story. And I'll just go ahead and show you guys this since we're here. But after this is kind of the final version that I have this generate so that you can copy and paste this into an AI builder like Lovable. But yeah, essentially this is how the build prompt looks. And so if we jump back, so now we have this build prompt. Next is prototyping. So again, we're at planning and now we're at prototyping. We're not even at the final build yet. This is, I mean, I guess it could be an optional step if you don't want to do this, but I think it's very helpful. Prototyping is basically testing out multiple methods to see which one gives you the closest output of what you want. And there's so many options. I mean, I'm putting 3 here. There's tons of vibe coding platforms, right? Like Warp, Emergent, Replit. So these are just common ones I use. You could use ChatGPT and Lovable, where you talk in chat and then you ask chat to build something in Lovable right away. You can use Lovable directly or Claude. But when you do this prototyping phase, make sure that you specify you just want a demo. So the point of this is, hey, I have this build plan. Can you just show me an output of what this looks like so I can get a sense of what the current specifications and instructions will give me? And when you try out different methods, they're all going to give you different results. So after you try a version or two, you have the option of picking which one resonates the most. And then, from there, you can actually go into the build. And remember, though, at the prototyping stage, this is where you either get very excited or you start to question yourself. So going back to the scope creep, make sure you protect your scope. And and then I guess from there, that's it. And then from the prototyping, once you select that, you can take that prototype, put it into your AI builder, and then make your final build. So the process for that would really just be, hey, this is my build plan. This is the prototype I've started with and the direction I want to go into. And now help me build the final product. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So, good luck to everyone with the AI build challenge. And I know, Padma, we had some time for questions. So like I know we're a little bit over, but I'd be happy to stay a little longer and dive into any of those topics. But yeah, thanks all for listening. Any questions or?
Thank you so much. This was so great. If you guys have any questions, need some clarity, you can unmute yourself and ask her.
I have a question, Yuna.
Yeah.
It's not related to Lovable or anything, but
Yeah.
I'm thinking more of the shift from like a minimum viable product to a minimal lovable product. So where do you think that shift has happened? Is it like in the mind of the product manager who sets kind of the strategy, or like the person who's implementing the product, like a developer or whoever is in the team?
That is such an amazing question, Gurpreet, because I've never thought of it, but honestly, my gut reaction to that is it's in the users, right? Because I think product managers, we go with whoever we're collaborating with, and of course, we're thinking of the users. But a lot of when I used to think about minimum viable, it was to also help my engineers, so then I could ultimately help the users. And now that everything is so easy to build, everything is determined by the user. It doesn't matter what engineering can or can't do. So that shift is really just now based off of who loves what you're building and who doesn't, and how do we make them love it. So yeah, that's my answer to that.
No. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Any other
Hi.
questions? Yeah.
Yes, it's great here. Great presentation, by the way. Thank you. I have a little bit of a practical question because I literally just started vibe coding yesterday.
Nice.
Although I'm an old computer science geek, so but this dates 20 years back, so
Yes.
so I'm taking this opportunity to dive into the whole world of vibe coding, and I'm using Lovable, and it's going quite well, but I am not as efficient as I would like to be. And I feel a lot of times it is because I don't really know how to name things, right? Or how to say, well, this little banner here, how do you describe this? I'm finding new names like hero and stuff, So is there sort of a
Vocabulary, yeah. I
yeah,
got you.
library somewhere that, would help a little bit because I have the idea, I know what I want to do, but I don't know exactly how to tell in the prompt, I'm talking about this view and this piece, and sometimes, it doesn't get it. It goes and changes something else, and I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I didn't mean that. Okay, so yeah, that's my question.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. No, that's a great question. And I want to echo what Padma said about taking this first step. I'm almost jealous of you because I remember my first, time vibe coding, and it was just so exciting and scary. And so I wish I could experience that again. Um, in terms of practical help, just based on your experience and what you described, I would actually use the chat and use the AI builder to help you and literally tell it the context of who Grace is. So what I mean by that is, hey, this is my first time building. I'm not familiar with any of this terminology. Can you explain what you did to me? Or can you use terminology that is more simple so that I can get more comfortable with, or familiar with how you're building and what to reference? Doing that and taking the time to do that is going to help you collaborate and communicate with AI better. So that's just a practical tip. In terms of resources for go-to vocabulary
Yeah.
or things like that, I don't know of any top of mind because I actually learned it just by getting in there and looking up things myself. But what I would do is take screenshots and go into an AI builder and ask. In terms of efficiency, there are a lot of ways you can make it more efficient, but yeah, I would say be patient with yourself and definitely take time to work with the AI to understand the definitions. So it's helpful for you for the next step.
Something I found useful, I don't know if that will help others in this call, was especially when there are not straightforward changes, I'm using the plan mode, because then suddenly it sort of translates my language to the more technical language. And sometimes I can sort of understand when it didn't get what I wanted neither.
Yes.
So but I'm wondering, in terms of credit usage, is the plan sort of using the same number of credits as if you would actually ask for the change to be made?
Yes, that's also a great question. And the answer is it doesn't use the same number of credits. So when you're in a chat mode, you're basically there's still token usage, but you're not executing tasks yet. You have to approve for Lovable to execute. So executions do take bigger credits, but I wouldn't think of it as like plan mode versus not plan mode. I would just think of it as talking versus executing. Because sometimes when you're in plan mode and you approve it to execute 5 tasks, that's going to take more credits. So it depends, but just chatting alone is less credits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course.
Just adding to that, what Grace was asking about. So I have shared the glossary in the chat. It's a standard documentation from Lovable, so you can go through it. There is a complete explanation of all the UI interfaces, the terms, and how you can actually give the prompts better to AI while prompting. So I have shared this even in the community. So maybe if you have missed it, just go through the documentation and then that will give you some clear idea. And even how to plan your credits and how the credits are being used. All the details are there in that documentation.
Thank you, Padma. That's
Thank
super
you.
helpful.
Awesome.
Any other questions, or if no one has any questions, I'm also happy to stay in chat as long as Padma. I don't know if you have a hard stop, but
Yeah, I'm fine. And Grace, actually, we have created a community on Microsoft Teams wherein I included all the builders who are working on this in the Buildathon. So if you're interested, I can add you into that community so that they will have a direct access to you to ask their questions as and when they are building.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'd be happy
Okay,
to.
I'll send you an invite after this call. You can absolutely join that and then you be available for them. That would be
Yes,
great.
absolutely. I'd be happy to. All right. Any other, I don't know, or does anyone want to chat about
Hi.
what they're building? Okay. Yes.
Yes, thank you so much. That's it's a very great presentation. And I would, is there any follow-up series for this meeting? And I'm trying to look it out in the LinkedIn. I'm not able to find it. If you can share the link, that would be great. And what is the hackathon? Sorry, the competition you were talking about. Can you explain about that as well?
Is this the one that
Uh,
she builds in the
Yeah.
beginning?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so She Builds is it's Lovable's global hackathon or buildathon for women.
Mm-hmm.
That's happening March 8th. It's separate from the AI Builder Challenge. So if it's just, after the AI Builder Challenge, if you want another opportunity to be a part of a buildathon, then yeah, it's there should be some links in there, but it's gonna happen on March 8th all around the world in person. So definitely check it out
Okay.
and see if there's a place near you.
Okay, yeah, sure. And can you add me in the teams as well, the one which Padma was talking about, the teams group?
Yes, I can add you. You should apply for that challenge if you haven't applied already. So I'll share you the link. Go
Yeah.
ahead for that. It's a challenge that we are doing. You
Mm-hmm.
should actually apply for it to be part of it.
Sure, I'll do. Please share the link. Thank
So
you.
here is the link
Mm-hmm.
um, of the website. You can find all the details here. There is an apply button, and applications are open until 20th. You are
Mm-hmm.
free to go ahead and then apply for it.
Oh, yeah, I got it now. Thank you so much.
Sure.
Yeah.
Anything else? Anyone has any questions or you want to give a feedback on the session?
Yes, either is great.
So this
Yeah, I
this
just,
was
yeah,
yeah, Shreya.
sorry, Padma. Yeah, I wanted to say the session was really good. So I was a part of She Builds as well with Padma as my teammate. And I thought that I knew a lot of things, but your slides had quite a few nuggets that would really help me in this hackathon. So thank you so much.
Oh my goodness. No, thank you. That means so much to me. I really appreciate that feedback
Yeah.
because I wanted to help Padma, so I was trying to fit everything in that I could think of. So but actually I can't take credit for all of it. Lazar, the vibe coding engineer, man, his February challenge
Yeah.
was so good. So I tried my best to give him credit everywhere, but it has taken my vibe coding to another level. So definitely if you have time, check it out. But yeah, thank
Oh,
you.
yeah,
Yeah,
Lazar
I
is
I'm trying
appreciate
great.
to
Yeah,
it.
I'll
catch up
keep
with
checking
his
his.
thing. I haven't started yet, but it's there in my list. With so many things happening, I'm yet to start. But let's see.
Yes. Oh,
Maybe after the challenge,
also,
I can still do that. Yeah.
yeah, Padma, I saw in your comments about the Builder Journal. So Lazar actually
Yeah.
has the Builder Journal
Oh, okay.
prompt in one of
Okay.
his days. So if
Mm-hmm.
anyone was curious about that, I would just use his prompt. I mean, I have my own, but his is fantastic. So yeah, it's in. I can check which day and maybe send it in the Teams chat later, but really
Yeah,
helpful.
I'll check it out. I'll add you into the community as well. That's where you can even share more nuggets and resources if you have any.
Sounds good.
So
Cool.
if no one has any questions, I think thank you. This is it. Thank you so much, Yuna. This was really enlightening even for me. There are certain things that I wasn't clear about, and this gave me a certain clarity. Thank you so much. And following up this, tomorrow we have another session wherein we have Frank Diaz who will be leading session on building smart with Lovable through structured preparation. So building upon this minimum lovable product, lock in the idea, and then tomorrow he's going to walk you through how you can actually structure your preparation. So tune in tomorrow at the same time, 8 a.m. PST, and we will have another session with a wonderful speaker again. So thank you so much, Luna.
Sounds
Have a
good.
great day.
Thanks, everyone.
The
Thank
session is
you.
recorded, and I'll be sharing the link in the community soon.
Thank you, Padma.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.